Learning objectives. At the end of this topic, you will be able to explore diversity in the world of microbes and classify them on the basis of their distinctive features. Establish active and passive unique position of viruses in nature. Comprehend the importance of microbes as recyclers. Cite examples of microbes becoming a threat to the living world, animals and plants. Discuss the methods of preserving the food. Explain nitrogen cycle. Sheila went to play football with her friend Rupa.
You have seen several kinds of plants and animals. However, there are other living organisms around us which we cannot see with eyes alone. These are called microorganisms or microbes. For example, you might have observed that during the rainy season, moist bread gets spoiled and its surface gets covered with grayish-white patches. Observe these patches through a magnifying glass. You will see tiny black rounded structures. Do you know what these structures are? And where do they come from? I don't know, Sheila. I'll tell you about microorganisms. This will be helpful for you. Let me begin my chapter.
Water and soil are full of tiny organisms, though not all of them fall into the category of microbes. These microorganisms or microbes are so small in size they cannot be seen with unaided eye. Some of these, such as the fungus that grows on bread, can be seen with a magnifying glass. Others cannot be seen without the help of a microscope. That is why these are called microorganisms or microbes. Microorganisms are classified into 4 major groups. These groups are bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and some algae. Viruses are also microscopic. They, however, reproduce only inside the cells of the host organism, which may be a bacterium, plant, or animal. Common ailments like cold, influenza, flu, and most coughs are caused by viruses. Serious diseases like polio and chickenpox are also caused by viruses. Diseases like dysentery and malaria are caused by protozoan, whereas typhoid and tuberculosis, TB, are bacterial diseases. Microorganisms may be single-celled, like bacteria. Some algae and protozoa, or multicellular, such as algae and fungi. They can survive under all the types of environment, ranging from ice-cold climate to hot springs and deserts to marshy lands. They are also found inside the bodies of animals, including humans. Some microorganisms grow on other organisms, while others exist freely. Microorganisms like amoeba can live alone, while fungi and bacteria may live in colonies. Microorganisms play an important role in our lives. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, whereas some others are harmful and cause diseases. Let us study about them in detail. Microorganisms have been used for the production of alcohol since ages. Let's know about friendly microorganisms. They're used in the preparation of curd, bread, and cake. They're also used in cleaning up of the environment. For example, the organic wastes, such as vegetable peels, remains of animals, feces, etc., are broken down into harmless and usable substances by the bacteria. Recall that bacteria is also used in the preparation of medicines. In agriculture, they used to increase the soil fertility by fixing nitrogen. Let's know about making of curd and bread. Curd contains several microorganisms. Of these, the bacterium Lactobacillus promotes the formation of curd. It multiplies in milk and converts it into curd. Bacteria are also involved in the making of cheese, pickles, and many other food items. An important ingredient of rava, idlis, and batura is curd. Yeast reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide during respiration. Bubbles of the gas fill the dough and increase its volume. This is the basis of the use of yeast in the baking industry for making breads, pastries, and cakes. Let's discuss commercial use of microorganisms. Microorganisms are used for the large-scale production of alcohol, wine, and acetic acid, vinegar. Yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol and wine. For this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars present in grains like barley, wheat, rice, and crushed fruit juices, etc. There is the smell of alcohol as sugar has been converted into alcohol by yeast. This process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is known as fermentation. Let's move to the medicinal use of microorganisms. The source of antibiotic tablets, capsules, or injections such as of penicillin is microorganisms. These medicines kill or stop the growth of disease-causing microorganisms. Such medicines are called antibiotics. These days, a number of antibiotics are being produced from bacteria and fungi. Streptomycin, tetracycline, and erythromycin are some of the commonly known antibiotics which are made from fungi and bacteria. The antibiotics are manufactured by growing specific microorganisms and are used to cure a variety of diseases. Antibiotics are even mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infection in animals. Let's know about vaccines. When a disease-carrying microbe enters our body, the body produces antibodies to fight the invader. The body also remembers how to fight the microbe if it enters again. So, if dead or weakened microbes are introduced in a healthy body, the body fights and kills them by producing suitable antibodies. The antibodies remain in the body and we are protected from the disease-causing microbes. This is how a vaccine works. Several diseases, including cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox, and hepatitis, can be prevented by vaccination. It is essential to protect all children against these diseases. Necessary vaccines are available in the nearby hospitals. The prominent is Pulse Polio Program. Polio drops given to children are actually a vaccine. A worldwide campaign against smallpox has finally led to its eradication from most parts of the world. These days, vaccines are made on a large scale from microorganisms to protect humans and other animals from several diseases. Let's move on to increasing soil fertility. Some bacteria and blue-green algae are able to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere to enrich soil with nitrogen and increase its fertility. These microbes are commonly called biological nitrogen fixers. Let's discuss about cleaning of environment. We've often seen large amounts of dead organic matter in the form of decaying plants and sometimes dead animals on the ground. We will find that they disappear after some time. This is because the microorganisms decompose dead organic waste of plants and animals, converting them into simple substances. These substances are again used by other plants and animals. Thus, microorganisms can be used to degrade the harmful and smelly substances and thereby clean up the environment. Microorganisms are harmful in many ways. Some of the microorganisms cause diseases in human beings, plants, and animals. Such disease-causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Some microorganisms spoil food, clothing, and leather. Let us study more about their harmful activities. Pathogens enter our body through the air we breathe, the water we drink, or the food we eat. They can also get transmitted by direct contact with an infected person or carried through an animal. Microbial diseases that can spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food, or physical contact are called communicable diseases. Examples of such diseases include cholera, common cold, chickenpox, and tuberculosis. When a person suffering from common cold sneezes, fine droplets of moisture carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air. The virus may enter the body of a healthy person while breathing. There are some insects and animals which act as carriers of disease-causing microbes. Housefly is one such carrier. The flies sit on the garbage and animal excreta. Pathogens stick to their bodies. When these flies sit on uncovered food, they may transfer the pathogens. Whoever eats the contaminated food is likely to get sick. So it is advisable to always keep food covered. Avoid consuming uncovered items of food. Another example of a carrier is the female Anopheles mosquito, which carries the parasite of malaria. Female Aedes mosquito acts as carrier of dengue virus. By keeping the surroundings clean and dry, we can prevent mosquitoes from breeding. Some of the common diseases affecting humans, their mode of transmission, and few general methods of prevention are given in the table. Let's know about disease-causing microorganisms in animals. Several microorganisms not only cause diseases in humans and plants, but also in other animals. For example, anthrax is a dangerous human and cattle disease caused by a bacterium. Foot and mouth disease of cattle is caused by a virus. Let's know about disease-causing microorganisms in plants. Several microorganisms cause diseases in plants like wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane, orange, apple, and others. The diseases reduce the yield of crops. They can be controlled by the use of certain chemicals which kill the microbes. So what is food poisoning? Food poisoning could be due to the consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms. Microorganisms that grow on our food sometimes produce toxic substances. These make the food poisonous, causing serious illness and even death. So it is very important that we preserve food to prevent it from being spoiled. Let us study the common methods to preserve food in our homes. We have to prevent it from the attack of microorganisms. There are basically 6 methods. They are chemical method, preservation by common salt, preservation by sugar, preservation by oil and vinegar, heat and cold treatments, storage and packing. In chemical methods, salts and edible oils are the common chemicals generally used to check the growth of microorganisms. Therefore, they are called preservatives. We add salt or acid preservatives to pickles to prevent the attack of microbes. Sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate are common preservatives. These are also used in jams and squashes to check their spoilage. Jams, jellies, and squashes are preserved by sugar. Sugar reduces the moisture content, which inhibits the growth of bacteria, which spoil the food. Common salt has been used to preserve meat and fish for ages. Meat and fish are covered with dry salt to check the growth of bacteria. Salting is also used to prevent amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, etc. Use of oil and vinegar prevents spoilage of pickles because bacteria cannot live in such an environment. Vegetables, fruits, fish, and meat are often preserved by this method. Boiling kills many microorganisms. Similarly, we keep our food in the refrigerator. Low temperature inhibits the growth of microbes. Pasteurized milk can be consumed without boiling as it is free from harmful microbes. The milk is heated to about 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds and then suddenly chilled and stored. By doing so, it prevents the growth of microbes. This process was discovered by Louis Pasteur. It is called pasteurization. Dry fruits and vegetables are sold in sealed, airtight packets to prevent the attack of microbes. Rhizobium is involved in the fixation of nitrogen in leguminous plants' pulses. Rhizobium lives in the root nodules of leguminous plants such as beans and peas, with which it has a symbiotic relationship. Sometimes nitrogen gets fixed through the action of lightning, but you know that the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains constant. Our atmosphere has 78% nitrogen gas. Nitrogen is one of the essential constituents of all living organisms as part of proteins, chlorophyll, nucleic acids, and vitamins. The atmospheric nitrogen cannot be taken directly by plants and animals. Certain bacteria and blue-green algae present in the soil fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert into compounds of nitrogen. Once nitrogen is converted into these usable compounds, it can be utilized by plants from the soil through their root system. Nitrogen is then used for the synthesis of plant proteins and other compounds. Animals feeding on plants get these proteins and other nitrogen compounds. When plants and animals die, bacteria and fungi present in the soil convert the nitrogenous wastes into nitrogenous compounds to be used by plants again. Certain other bacteria convert some part of them to nitrogen gas, which goes back into the atmosphere. As a result, the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains more or less constant. Let's summarize the topic. Microorganisms can be single-celled or multi-celled. Microorganisms can be used for the production of alcohol, pickles, or beverages. Yeast reproduces quickly and produces carbon dioxide during respiration. Human body produces antibodies due to vaccine to fight the invader.